Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Paradise Nannaclir deck profile. This is one of the new decks from the Dragon Soul Resonance Booster Pack, a deck that focuses on using the different orders along with our Vanguard Nannaclir to arrive at the Stray Garden for your world to become. I would say it's very similar to Final Rush, making it so the play for your units becomes Stray Garden, and then getting the additional pressure that your Vanguard and your rear guards can have from attaining this status for the game state. So an interesting deck for Stoicheia for sure. Still running more on the generic side with the lack of cards, only having one set to support the deck, but still happy with the results of the deck overall. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off for the ride deck, we have the Energy Generator, with our starter being One Who Arrived at Paradise, Lucent. When rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is One Who Arrived at Paradise, Yodel. When this unit's rode upon by One Who Arrived at Paradise, Nocturne, call this card to rearguard and soul charge 1. So it sets up more of your soul, and then having the rearguard ability, if your world is Stray Garden, it gets plus 5,000 power. Our grade 2 is One Who Arrived at Paradise, Nocturne. When rode upon by a grade 3 with Nannaclir in its card name, you may call this card to rearguard. If you called a card, choose up to one card from your drop, put into your soul. If you did not call a card, draw a card. So give you more added options, because then on the rear guard, Nocturne, if your world is Stray Garden, gets boost and plus 5,000 power. So just added pressure with both the grade 1 and 2 that we can call out to the rear guard circles. With our grade 3 being the One Who Guides towards Paradise, Nannaclir, along with the copy in the ride deck. We are also running 3 copies in the main deck as well. During your turn, if you have 3 or more rear guards with One Who Arrived at Paradise in their card names, your world becomes Stray Garden, and this unit gets triple drive. So the big thing with this deck that I may change are the number of grade 2 Nocturnes that I'm running in the main deck, just so we can have more targets for the One Who Arrived in Paradise, for our Vanguard to get the triple drive power, and for Stray Garden to be active. And on the Vanguard circle, you can Energy Blast 3, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to one card from among them, reveal it, call it to rearguard if it's a unit card, and put into hand if it's a Bloom in Paradise, Seed, Meal, Fate, and shuffle the deck. If you called a unit with One Who Arrived in Paradise in its card name, that unit gets plus 5,000 to the end of turn. So having the additional plus 5 of the One Who Arrived in Paradise units, and then the additional power of when this unit attacks, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards and stand it. Having the restand pressure as well of your Vanguard to be able to make use of with the 4 attacks that you can do in the deck. And for additional grade 3s, we're running 2 copies of Hurtful Papadilio. With this unit, it mostly runs with the Codex, but it can also be run as more of a defensive card. When your Vanguard is attacked by your opponent's rearguard, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and decrease that unit's power by the original unit's power till end of turn. So just a way to kind of weaken the attack of your opponent. But if you wanted to run additional copies of Nocturne, this could be the unit that you take out for additional copies of that grade 2. For the additional grade 2s, we're running 4 copies of One Who Arrived in Paradise, Leaves Feather Dragon. When this unit's placed on rearguard, other than during the battle phase, counterblast 1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to one card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them, reveal it, call it to rearguard. If it's a unit card, put into your hand if it's a Bloom in Paradise, Seed, Meal, Fate, and shuffle the deck. If the world is Stray Garden, look at the 7 cards instead of 3. So more consistent search, just having the setup for Stray Garden, which you can do with the cards in your ride deck, in your Vanguard, having the 2 cards to then use. And when this unit attacks, if your world is Stray Garden, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 10,000 to the end of the battle. So added pressure, and one of the better cards to restand, since it'll just have the additional plus 10 to rely on as well with all the soul charging you did with your ride deck units as well. And also 4 copies of One Who Arrived in Paradise, Weaselon. When on rearguard or guard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Nannaclir in its card name and your world is Stray Garden, it gets plus 5,000. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Nannaclir and your world is not Stray Garden, it gets shield plus 5,000. So having the offensive and defensive capabilities for both, and at the end of your turn, if your world is Stray Garden, you can put this unit to the soul and draw a card, giving you more cards to then be able to guard with from your hand, and then having more soul buildup as well thanks to this card. Other grade 2s include the 4 copies of Love Binding Maiden, Margaret. When it's discarded from your hand during the ride phase, you can Soul Blast 1, put this card on the bottom of the deck, and draw a card. And when it's placed on rearguard, if you Persona Road this turn, Counterblast 1, and your opponent cannot intercept till the end of turn. All your opponent's front row rearguards cannot stand during the next phase as well. So having the added option for restriction and not being able to intercept with the power of the Persona in the deck is another reason why I like this as one of the generic cards to run in the deck. I thought about running the unit with the Persona shield option, but that's player preference at that point as well if you wanted to run it. The other grade 1s include 4 copies of One Who Arrived at Paradise, Furry Lettuce, with this card having the additional grade 1 power on rearguard to retire this unit, choosing the Blue in Paradise, Seed Meal Fate from your drop, and it gets this card can be played from the drop, and when it is played and put from the drop, put it on the bottom of the deck instead, so giving you the option to discard that order if need be with this grade 1, and from the back row rearguard once per turn, when your unit in the same column as this one stands by a card ability, if your world is Stray Garden, stand this unit. So a definite 4 of, so then when we restand our rearguard thanks to our Vanguard, we can then restand the additional card that may have boosted beforehand for an additional power also. 4 copies of Harvest Elf as well when it's placed on rearguard from hand other than during the battle phase. Soul Blast 1, call plant token to rearguard. So just giving you a full-on column because at the end of the battle this unit boosted, you can retire 2 rearguards in the same column as this unit and draw a card. So more draw power on top of just being able to have a grade 1 that can set up a whole column on its own. Also, with our other grade 1s being 1 copy of the Green Jeweled Beast Emerald. When it's placed on rearguard or put on the guard circle, put a total of 2 cards from your soul or drop that were used in the ride deck, back up, face up in the ride deck, and perform either of the following. You can soul charge 2 and choose one of your units, and it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn, or on guard circle, it can get plus 15,000. So more soul charge power in the form of a grade 1 that can just make use of the ride deck units also, which when they're in the drop, because they'll get called out to rearguard thanks to their own abilities. And then 4 copies of the Sentinels, just if you wanted to run 1 Elementaria Sanctitude, you can drop down the Planner Prevent Dragon for that spot also. And then for our order, we spoke enough about in the video, which is a Bloom in Paradise, Seed Meal Fate. You play this card if you have a Vanguard with Nannaclir in its card name. You choose a card with One Who Arrived in Paradise in its card name from your drop and call it to rearguard. And having this card, or choose one of your rearguards with One Who Arrived in Paradise in its card name until end of turn it gets on rearguard when this unit stands. If your world is Stray Garden, it's plus critical until end of turn and plus 5,000, adding more pressure to the potential rearguard that you may restand with the ability of your Vanguard. And when this card is revealed from the deck and put into the hand by the ability of your card with Paradise in its card name, reveal this card and draw a card. So added benefit to adding this card off of your Vanguard's ability or any of your other cards as well. So just a definite 4 of to have that consistency and play style to use also. And then the trigger lineup in the deck, going with the 7 criticals for the added triple drive pressure with our Vanguard. The 4 front triggers because we will be restanding a rear guard, so just having the power to the front row as well. And then the additional 5k guard that this card can get as well. And then the 4 copies of Rhythmica Kiwi just for the generic heals to run in the deck, with our over trigger being Valnute, having more restand power on top of the restand power we already have in the deck as well, to be able to choose and guarantee that restood rearguard to then be able to attack again and then restand also afterwards. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. One of the more interesting Stoicheia decks from the latest release. We also have the additional decks to support from the set, so look forward to it. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.